Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
And now, live from TalkWad Studios in Tampa, Florida, it's Affairs of Your Heart with your hosts, Eazy-E and CC.
Well, good evening. It's so great to be here tonight, and I want to thank TalkWad Networks for having us here on liveandloveradio.com. And, of course, if you want to call in on tonight's show, tonight's call-in number is 813-235-0644. We'd love to listen from you. And this is Affairs of Your Heart, and I have with me Eazy-E. Good afternoon, good evening.
Well, good afternoon. I'm a bit disappointed, no bling on today's show. Last week you had the bling
well,
going
I have it on
on
my shirt.
Oh, okay. A little glitter on the shirt today. Okay. The week after St. Patty's Day. Good evening, all. Welcome to Affairs of Your Heart.
Yes, and we're going to have a great show tonight. This is Cece. If y'all don't remember me, I am one of your co-hosts here, and we are going to be talking about online dating, which seems to be a real hot topic.
Is. Ooh, yes,
I know I'm online. Are you online? How about it? Are you online?
No, not really anymore.
Oh,
I'm not
really anymore. Yeah.
Let's just say I peruse every now and then. That's all.
Okay, that's a topic that we should cover.
Yeah,
the
yes, it is.
perusing,
Yes, it is.
absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I wonder what our audience is thinking about this online dating.
Yep. And like I said, for today's show, feel free to either reach us by the number.
We have a call.
Yeah.
We have a call. Answer your phone. Hello?
No, I don't know who it was, so I kind of cut it off. A little glitch in the program, but no, I don't know.
Well,
who
if
that
you're
was.
trying to call the station, we've had to rig up a little bit of thing with the phone, so just bear with us on. But you know how we are; we just kind of go with the roll. And our number again is 813-235-0644. So if you want to give us a call, but we're going to be talking about online dating tonight because you know what, and it really is a fantastic way to meet individuals online, to meet individuals for dating.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not necessarily, this big, huge interview process, but it is a way to be able to get out there and entertain, to meet someone, to be able to date someone.
Well, I haven't been online for a number of years off and on. I sit back and reflect now, as I think a lot of people have, CC, as to the effectiveness of it. Now I think we've been on it a while, and there's probably just as many disappointing stories as there are positive stories. So I think what we need to do and what we're going to spend today's show talking about is online dating really effective in a number of ways. And once again, I had done some research, and I want your views on some of these things. For our listeners,
research.
I want to, true. I want to get some research because
look at this guy. Look at all this research. Look.
But it's important that this stuff isn't just coming from the top of my head. It's very factual. But the study I thought was very interesting. It says in 1992. when the internet was still in its infancy, less than 1% of Americans met their partners through personal ads or matchmaking services. By 2009, 22% of heterosexuals. Hold on one moment. Hello, may I help you?
Yes, I'm calling Cece to be on her radio show.
Hey there. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Cece?
Yes.
Great. Are we on?
We are on. We are on live. And who is this?
Harvey Simon. I'm with your singles divorce group.
Yes, I thought I could tell your voice, Harvey. How are you tonight?
Oh, wonderful. Are you having a good show so far?
Oh, yeah, we are. We're talking about online dating. What's your opinion of online dating?
Oh, I've been through some of those.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so
they're everyone is different.
Yes.
Everyone is different, and they're all exciting. I usually wind up spending too much money because I can't just meet someone for coffee. You know, I'm just the type that, let's have dinner, let's have drinks, and
well, then you must have liked them then. If you went a little bit
well, not necessarily, but the way I look at it is that 50% of whatever I spend, I'm spending on myself. So,
correct.
And I like eating out in restaurants, and I'm not a big drinker, but I do, indulge moderately. So anyway, but yes, I've had some fun experiences.
Well, Harvey,
what are the other people?
I know
what are the
you,
other people?
And I know that you just appreciate, really experiencing individuals and being able to, share of your time. And I think
that's true. That's true. I've always loved people. I've been a hairstylist. I'm no longer doing that, but I spent 30 years behind the chair. Even though I owned the salons that I worked in, I always had personal clients, and I loved getting into their lives, and they became family to me.
Yeah, you're just a super guy. I know that it's just kind of, my mother used to say, well, if you throw enough mud on the wall, some of it'll stick. And, I think kind of online dating's kind of like that. It's a numbers game, and you just have to go in with a positive attitude. And you're always very positive, Harvey. You're a very up kind of guy. So I'm sure that any ladies that went out with you must have had a great time.
Yeah, I think we did. We always, even if the chemistry wasn't there, we salvaged the evening, and and I had a few that were disappointed that it didn't go any further, and there was some that I had hoped would develop more, but didn't, and. Some of the problem was that they lived too far away. I was on this site that showed women that, in other cities like Orlando and even further. But they just looked so good that I had to meet them.
Right. Yeah, we're going to discuss that whether long range relationships will we work or not. So.
I love that. They just look so good.
Yeah.
You just couldn't,
I know. I said, well, I'll make the sacrifice, but it just those are very hard to work out, especially if you've just met the person, you haven't grown roots yet, so to speak.
Right. There's no bonding there, connection there, and it's very difficult.
Yeah, we're going to try to get into some of the ins and outs of those things, but that is one of the topics we're going to talk about, whether long distance relationships really work and those type of things, and whether online dating in general really works from its the present way it's done nowadays. So we're going to talk about those things.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much
for listening. I was going to say, if I could recommend a movie, it's a little of an older movie, a couple of years back, but The Holiday is one that really deals with, relationships and
Uh-huh.
long distance relationships and all that. And boy, that's a great one to watch. That's one I watch a lot.
Great. Okay.
About
Well,
once a month.
do you? Okay. Well, definitely. I'll have to. You must have that movie, so
Yeah,
we'll
check
definitely
that
have
out.
have to listen, have to watch that one for sure. But I know, Harvey, you're gonna owe us. Remember the dancing? We're gonna do a dancing event.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, so I'm going to
for
say that right on
Latin
air so everybody can
dancing
hear.
lessons.
And you're going to do a dancing event. You're going to teach us how to do some of these dances now, right?
Yeah, well, maybe we can do that at my next party, which I have planned on April 20th. It's
April
a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's originally designed to show some of my artwork, but
Okay.
I'm also serving sangria, chips,
All
dips,
right.
and playing music. So yeah, we could fit in a couple of mambos and cha-chas and merengues.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, definitely, we'll put your event on, and because your artwork is very important to you and to all of us, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I think definitely everyone would enjoy that as an event for sure. But I do
Great,
thank you
great.
for
Yeah, they
calling
can.
in.
People can go to Sculptures by Harvey Simon on Facebook
Okay.
and review some of the work I've done.
Yeah, and I know your work is really fabulous, so definitely do that.
Oh,
Say it
well,
again,
thanks.
Harvey. One more time. Tell us how to see your artwork. Where do
I'm
we
sorry, what?
where do we see your artwork at? What site do we go to?
It's Sculptures by Harvey Simon
Okay, Sculptures by
on
Harvey Simon.
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a page that I maintain, and I write a commentary about how I do the work, and I usually say a few words about the pieces that I
Okay.
do,
All right.
where the inspiration comes from, and etc.
Wonderful. All right, we'll make sure we make a note of that and everything. And we'll have to go for the next caller, but it was so nice to talk to you, Harvey.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling
And
in.
thank you for listening.
Oh,
We
it's
do
a
appreciate
pleasure.
it. All right,
All
take
right.
Yeah,
care.
good luck with your show.
All right,
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
He is such a dear sweetheart.
Yeah, seems like a very nice
he
guy.
is, and he's really a great guy, and he helps out a lot with regards to a lot of the events and things like that we do. And I know
Right,
that we're going
right.
to have some things. You and I are going to have some things
Uh-huh.
on the horizon here that I'm sure Harvey will help us with. He's a
Right.
super guy, and and he's right about the online dating. Distance is a
Yeah,
really.
that's one of the issues.
It is. It can be very difficult.
Yeah,
And I do believe that it can work, but it takes really both
Yeah.
parties working actively,
Right.
actively at it.
Yeah, and before Harvey had called, one of the things I was alluding to the fact that in doing this research, it says, and I think there's some validity to it, that online dating has become such a way that subconsciously it becomes like a supermarket, like shopping for shoes. People spend time going through hundreds of profiles. Their scrutiny levels become very narrow, and oftentimes you're overlooking a valuable person because there are so many. The one little thing you don't like, you throw it out and just go to the next profile.
It's funny you said that because I'm online. And I've seen a couple profiles, and I've kind of like, I don't really think I'm not really attracted to them. I'm thinking and then later I've seen them at an event, and I'm thinking, what were
Yes,
you
right,
thinking?
it-
This is
right,
the guy
right,
that you
right.
said no to,
Right. And
I was like, oh.
and now that we've gone from and what the point I was trying to make is that by now in 2009 over 22% of heterosexual couples and 61% of same-sex couples met online. And so it has become a business, but it's evolved, and now we have specialized dating sites. I like horses, so we have a horse riding dating site, and it even though you share common interests in finding somebody, that by no means determined what was known way back in the day before we had all this as far as instant attraction, compatibility. Just because you have similar likes, that by no means creates chemistry within an individual. So,
Oh, absolutely. Chemistry is very unique to your own your own makeup.
Right,
So
right.
it's, whether you have, I mean, somebody can be just absolutely wonderful individual, but if you don't have chemistry for them, you just don't have it.
Right,
And it's
right.
not something that you can invent. It's not something you can get later, although you can have what I call an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I mean, because there are many people that, although they didn't rock my boat at the very beginning, I became, as I've gotten to know them, I've became, attracted to them, and mainly attracted to the qualities from within.
Right.
Because those sometimes, when we first meet someone, we don't really get the qualities from within. We just get the spark, the chemistry. Okay, does that really work for us?
Right.
But, I think we can get, and as we're older, when we're more mature, we do have to understand that we don't look like we did before.
Yeah.
Things have changed about us,
Right.
but we can have an acquired taste. It's like a good glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And this is an area we'll spend multiple shows dissecting this, because it is a big area as to whether it works and doesn't work. And once again, because I'm always into helping people identify if it's not working, maybe it's how they use it and how they go about it as to
Right.
whether it's not working.
Absolutely.
Whether
We-
you're going into it trying to match a need. And there are, because it's so freely, there's so many profiles, you can easily this person doesn't spell right. That's not good enough for me. This person, I don't like this. That's not good. And so at the end of the day, you've spent 2 hours, but you haven't accomplished anything, because it was like shopping for a pair of shoes,
Right.
in the online catalog.
Well, I
So,
think when you start out on online dating, and I personally like online dating because I think it just gives you another opportunity in which to have an introduction with someone. Because so it's very difficult, to be able to get out there and meet people.
Right.
And so it just gives you another avenue in which to do that. So, I mean, I think people read more into it than what there really is.
Right,
In,
that's right.
safety and all this kind of thing. Well, hey, you're just online, so it's not that big of a thing.
Right.
But the thing is you are not going to get out of it what you think you're going to get out of it unless you know what you want at the beginning.
That therein lies the key. Whether
Right.
a lot of times we think we know what we want, but that isn't really what we end up finding once we get to meeting somebody. And so I think that's where the confusion comes in too. It's easy to make a laundry list, but you can find somebody that you really like, and the two of you come together in common ground. And so it doesn't
Right.
really. So like I said, we're going to have some fun today. And I met a lady, and I'll share some of my experiences later on in the show. I met a
Oh, that's
lady
going to be interesting.
a while back.
Can't wait.
That in talking to her, I think she was very typical in what a lot of people are experiencing online dating. And because we keep this show real, I'd like to give her a call and let's talk to her about some of her experiences, though, because I guarantee you, when you hear from her, everything she says, there's going to be one of our listeners out there to say the same thing happened
Oh,
to me,
yeah.
or I understand
Definitely,
that.
let's do.
Yes, I'll try to get her on the line
Yeah,
here.
she was going to actually call us, but we're having a little bit of trouble with the phone. I'm just so glad that Harvey was able to get through.
Right,
so
right. Uh-huh.
This will be great.
Right.
Yeah. So we can hear the phone now. So, but while we're doing this, you know what? I'll just do my normal little chatting thing that I always do. But I think that in order for online dating to really work for us, we have to have an open heart, and we have to have an open mind with regards to it. And my good
Your
friend,
call has been forwarded to an automatic voice
my
message.
good friend Janet Tatum, she always says, "Be careful what you wish for," because sometimes if you do meet someone and it really does work out, you have to be prepared for that to work out.
Yeah,
Prepared for it.
right.
A lot of times we're not prepared for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I tell you, there's so many avenues in all of this.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hi, is this
Hello.
Sarah?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Easy E from Affairs of Your Heart. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. We're having fun today, Sarah, talking about online dating and some of the perils and some of the positives as well as disappointments in online dating. And I thought I'd have you on today's show because I had talked to you earlier, and to me, you typified what a lot of people are experiencing, some of the frustrations. And I want our listeners to hear from a person and what they feel about online dating. So would you share with our listeners what you feel, how long you've been in online dating, and what's the results, and what do you feel about it right now?
Well, it's been quite a trip. I haven't been on it long
Uh-huh.
because it just, I found that it wasn't really my cup of tea after I had a few experiences. The problem with online dating is that it's like a cloak. People are able to hide behind this cloak and really not give forth their true self.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to weed through, a lot of lies and that sort of thing. And my first experience, I remember the guy, lived in another area. He didn't live in Tampa where I'm living. He lived in another area. So,
Uh-huh.
The first thing is that I don't like to do like texting or emailing forever. I mean, I don't get into that at all.
Right.
Usually, if there's someone interested, it goes right to coffee or
Mm-hmm.
something, a meeting of some sort. And in this case, because he was from out of town and I didn't know, he had a name that was very common, and I didn't, know anything about him, and I really couldn't research him. I wasn't comfortable with just meeting him, and I said, so, I'm kind of cautious, and I decided, well, if I at least have his driver's license, a picture of it, then I can let someone have that information in case I disappear or something.
Oh, okay. So you asked him for a picture of his driver's license or a copy of it?
Yeah, so I texted him. I said, before I meet you, could you take a picture of your driver's license
Uh-huh.
and text it to me,
Uh-huh.
And by then he knew what my business was and so forth, and so, he didn't have a problem with that. He said that was a very smart thing to do. It didn't offend him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got the picture of it, the first thing I discovered is that he was older than he said online.
Okay.
By about 6 years.
Oh.
And then I said, okay, I get why he did that. And so I met him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met him, he was 60 pounds heavier than his picture online.
Oh boy. Well, how did you handle that with him?
I didn't. I just I was very polite and nice. We had a nice, lovely chat and so forth. And once we got through coffee and he went back on his way, it was just next.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's the way you're going to start off, being totally untruthful, I mean, and that's the best you're going to give me. I can only imagine what would happen if I got into some sort of a relationship with you.
Yeah, right.
Because it only goes downhill from there.
Yeah, I hear you.
You get the best up front.
Yeah, I hear you. You've experienced some of that too, Cece, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have, but I also feel a little bit because I do know that sometimes they may not have a recent picture, or and they put up something a little bit older, and I've had come the other way where I've met guys that are thinner than their picture because they had an old picture up there, an older picture up there. So I just think that we have to stop for a minute and think what we're truly looking for. And obviously, you didn't have chemistry with this guy. He didn't rock your boat as soon as you saw him. There was a lot of things about it. But I tend to wonder, would things have been different had you not started seeing, like you saw his driver's license, you saw his age was different. I'm a little bit older than I look. So I mean, and a lot of friends, when I first started into the online dating, they said, don't put your age down, don't put your real age down, because you act younger, you look younger, you want to be able to attract a little bit of a younger person versus someone that's a lot older than me. And it's true, because I mean, you got to it takes a rare person to keep up with me. So, but what I'm just saying is that, to make a long story short, is that when you saw the driver's license and immediately you saw the age, your mind started going negative. And even though you met him and it didn't work out, I tend to wonder, had that not happened, did that taint a lot of things for you?
Well,
well, no, I mean, I got it, because I'm older like you, but I'm a very active person. I'm doing running and sports and that kind of thing. And, I'm like you. are going to have a lot of energy to keep up with me. And, so I want to manifest that into my life. I want someone that I'm going to be able to do a lot of things with.
Right.
And so, but, I that's when I met Eric, is after I had that experience. I met Eric at a talk, and I was telling him about it. And I said, was I a little over the top by asking for a driver's license? And he laughed at me, and with the rest of the group, they all laughed at me. And I said, I guess I was a little over the top. Okay, I won't do that.
But you know what? It's good that you ask questions, though.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
I really do recommend getting their first name, last name, because I search them online and see if there's anything. Try to get like where they're, but you know about what their age is, and okay, maybe they're not giving you the exact age, but that's to me neither here nor there. And then the area of where they've lived. When you're talking with them on the phone, it is important to talk with them on the phone. You should really keep a piece of paper down and kind of, ask a little background information and jot it down and do a search. And you know what? A good guy isn't going to mind that. He isn't going to mind that you're going to check him out a little bit.
That's very correct.
So maybe the driver's license is a little bit over the top.
Well,
but were you right for
let
checking?
me tell you the next story, okay?
Yeah, let's hear the next
So
one.
I'm thinking, all right, no driver's license. I won't do that.
right.
The next guy, he gives me a false name. Okay, I don't know this.
Okay.
Okay. And he paints this wonderful story of himself and so forth, and we meet, for drinks, and, we have a really nice evening. I mean, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with this person. And he told me these wonderful stories, and they're stories that would have put him in a national newspaper. Okay?
Okay.
So he wanted to do something with me the next day, and I thought, well, gee, I'd like to read the articles that were written about him, because he had this high achievement. And so I go online to search him at that point, and nothing comes up. And I'm like, well, and it was an athletic event. So I said, well, he probably is in the standings somewhere. So I went to the national site of whatever the standings were for that particular athletic event. And sure enough, there was a guy the same age from the same town, but his name was different. Okay, and what had happened is it looked like he may have truncated his name, made it shorter, and then used his middle name as his first name. Okay, so I typed in that, I Googled that name, and lo and behold, up comes an arrest record. Just got out of prison for serving time for grand theft of over $50,000. I mean, it was like I just had to laugh. It was hysterical.
Right.
It was so like, okay, now I got to find a happy medium.
Yeah.
But what I found is as I waded through the droves of people, and I've talked to other people that have been in this realm a lot longer than I had, and what I'm hearing is that you'll see the same guys out there 5 years from now, because a lot of them are just players. They just their own intention is to just kind of meet someone and have their fun with them and then go to the next person, and it's. I just found
flirt, dating, ego building, and sex. I hear what you're saying. There's
well, and the
a
other
lot
thing
of
is
that.
too, they're not like this guy is not of quality,
right?
Right. And so you are going to get both men and women out there that are not of quality, and that's why they're hanging around the sites and things. I hate to people get discouraged because there are good people online. I mean, I'm online and I'm a good person,
Right.
So there are some really great people that are online. I've met some really great people. Yeah. I've met some that are fantastic that didn't rock my boat, and there were some things that were not acceptable for them. So, I mean, I hate for you to get discouraged about it. You just have to look at it that it's just an avenue in which to meet people and, to meet individuals. But it can be exhausting. Yeah. It can be, I mean, I get tired of it myself.
Yeah. One thing that And really, from my perspective, that I'd like our listeners to understand, I personally believe it's commendable. I think you should go the extra mile to check someone out. Especially if you're a woman, I think that's what you should do. You really should get to know who this person is. And we're in a mature age range, and if we can't step forward and say, okay, I'm done with the games, I'm trying to find a committed relationship, and the only way to do that is to determine somebody's level of sincerity right up front. And so, I mean, there's a way to check somebody out without getting too personal. I think it's fine to ask for a copy of your driver's license. If I was in that position and you asked for a copy of mine,
I don't think I would do it. I would not, and the reason being is
I
because
might give you a copy of my business card.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm
the
not saying-
reason I wouldn't do
Right,
it because
right.
I'm a woman and my address is on there.
Well, okay,
And if
okay.
I'm meeting you the first time for a cup of coffee or for a drink or something like that to get to know you a little bit, I'm meeting you
Okay.
there because I don't want you to come to my house.
Okay,
So
well,
I don't think I would do that, but I do
But
think
what I'm
that,
saying is, for a woman
right.
to go and spend time with a man, I think she should. I'm not saying that the driver's license is the only way to go, but I think a woman should spend more time in trying to determine who this person is, as opposed to just relying on his lovely text messages and his flowery emails.
Oh, I agree.
You
I agree.
know,
Because
that's what
I
I'm
mean, I
saying.
Google them. I Google like where they are supposed to live, and it usually comes up. You can find where they live, and if stuff they're telling you is all kind of working out, then okay, give the guy benefit of the doubt and meet him,
Right.
and then get to know him a little bit more, and then see where it goes. But for you, Sarah, you did the right thing because you started Googling and you started
Right,
realizing
right.
something isn't
Right.
isn't going. And I had that happen to myself, but I didn't meet them through an online dating. I met them another way, and then as we started Googling, things that he was said didn't come up, and
Right.
and we started searching, and he had just gotten out of jail for conning women. So and I didn't meet him online. So this
Right.
can happen anywhere, and we as women and men
Absolutely.
should
I totally
should
agree.
check out the
Yeah.
person that we're going to be.
And you can do it subtly. You don't have to be
Yeah.
intrusive. I'm just saying whatever you feel comfortable doing. Because if somebody wants to check me out and I'm straight up and care about this person, I will first of all understand that's why they want to do it. And I don't have a problem. Because I'd much rather them feel good about me knowing that I'm true blue and who I say I am right up front. That's one hurdle already out of the way, and then we can move forward. If I'm
Right.
straight up, if I've got something suspicious going on, then no, I'm not going to like it. So I think that's
Yeah.
one way to weed it out myself.
So are you offline now, Sarah?
For the moment, I am. I just wanted to step away and try some other avenues to meet people.
Right.
And, because there's several things you can do other than just the online, and then
Absolutely.
there's like the meetup stuff where you actually are involved in activities that you enjoy,
Right.
and you bump into people that also enjoy those activities, and, I'm finding that I meet lots of people that way.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's many ways for us to do it, and so I think the online is the easiest way to hide who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just, run into people in events or in things that I'm doing
And see what happens from there. Right.
and see what happens from there. Plus, men are very visual. They're going to take one look at you and they're going to know if, they even have an inkling of a chance of having another date with you.
Absolutely.
It's just,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're right.
women are a little more forgiving. I think we say, okay, well, he doesn't seem like he's my look, but, I'm going to sit down and get to know him a little.
Right. Well, we've got to run to a break right now,
Okay.
Sarah. But thank you so much for calling in. You've really you gave our listeners some things to think about. And the main message I did want them to hear from you is do some investigation, whether male
Absolutely.
or female. Figure out who this person is. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for calling in.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye
Thank
bye.
you for listening. Yeah, she is so right. You most certainly have to, you really do have to investigate
You
a little
do.
bit. And you shouldn't feel bad about doing that. Absolutely.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not at
so we're
all.
going to go on a quick break.
Yeah,
huh?
we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be back with Affairs of Your Heart in just a minute.
Yeah, grab a glass of wine. We'll be right
Right.
back.
The west central coast of Florida has an amazing music scene. Festivals, clubs, special performances, and there's always a lot of live music. The problem has always been getting the word out about events. Then GoTonight.com emerged on the scene. The brainstorm creation of founder Don McKeon, a Sarasota entrepreneur. We caught up with Don and his inspirational friend, Frank Papa, at the Flying Dog Cafe.
This is Frank. I'm Don. Frank is the reason that there is a GoTonight.com. He would call me repeatedly.
Where are we going? Where do you want to go? Where will we go tonight?
The website has been a boon to many small clubs. So next time you find yourself asking, where will we go tonight? You've got the answer.
Welcome back to Affairs of Your Heart. Sarah was a good caller, wasn't she?
She was. She was great.
She's run into some of those experiences all of us have, but I think, and like I said, it's such a big and broad subject, and you're right, I like you, I don't want to see people get discouraged, but it can become discouraging if you look back over 8, 9, 10, 11 months, and all you do is have a lot of starts and stops.
But you know what? If you stop and think about it, we're looking for, or we want to meet someone that maybe we can spend the rest of our life with. So it's not something that's going to, if we're fortunate that it happens overnight, that's great. But, the likelihood is very slim. So we have to give it some time. And even as we're starting, maybe we're also, moving through. I often tell everyone that I look at it as every person I meet, I'm just moving through to the right one. Right. Because what I do is I actually take a little bit of them into the next, because then I start to understand myself a little bit more and what I am looking for, because I really do feel a lot of times we start out with online dating and we don't really know what it is that we want. We don't really know who we are.
Right.
Right. So as we're exploring this, because many of us are coming from relationship loss, we're starting to explore it, and we're learning a little bit more about ourselves. The other thing I wanted to mention, it's timing.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the right time. Maybe you've met somebody that's really fantastic, and it's not the right, the timing is just not right for either party.
Right. Yeah, no, I think timing is a major factor, but here's another caveat to throw out to you, and I only throw this out, and I would assume it's maybe based upon my nature, okay? Because I truly have always, since I was young, I've always been a people person. So, when I first told you that I started online dating and meeting people, I never went with expectation. I went with the strict purpose of having a good time, because I could be in control of that. I could make sure we have a good time. And if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But that time spent was worthwhile. The second thing it's done that I look back, I've been here in Florida 2.5, going on 3 years now. And I moved to Florida and knew one person, a person that I grew up with years ago.
That's very brave.
And now, 3.5 years later, I would honestly have to say that of all my female close friends, 95% of them I met through online dating. And the difference was I didn't believe everybody was there for the expectation of a relationship. Some we just got along and liked each other and wanted to have fun. If something were to go from that to another place, fine, but I didn't put the pressure on and I didn't size everybody up that it had to be something. And I'm very proud of the fact that I can point to all these people, and there's good solid friends of mine, and not that we tried it and it didn't work, we moved. We've never tried it. We came to the agreement. We discussed it. We decided this was the way that we were going to go and never look back. And that's what I think maturity can do. People can do that. And I have a lot of good friends through online dating. So what I'm trying to say is I don't always think that you have to look at every potential profile as being somebody that you can or cannot spend the rest of your life with. What do you think?
I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. We've met a lot of people, and maybe we just didn't click or whatever, but we can take away from it a valuable relationship, and most certainly I've met a lot of guys, and I've met still managed to be friends with them too.
Right.
So I think certainly it's just it is just totally, just a way of meeting people. It's just
Yeah.
a really great, a great way of doing it. But you have to be smart about it.
Yeah, you do.
You do have to be a little savvy. You do have to put a little work and a little effort
Yeah.
into it. And it's just like anything. Anything that's good in your life that you've probably worked for it.
Right.
And so online dating or meeting your match is going to create some work. And hopefully you have a little bit of fun along the way.
Right.
Myself, when I go out, I just I want to get to know the person and find out what they're like, what makes
Right.
them tick.
Right.
So I ask questions like, what's your favorite color?
Uh-huh.
That kind of thing.
Right.
Because I really do want to know about them.
Right.
I mean, it's my time to kind of explore and get to know that person.
Yeah, and like you said, and the main thing is have some fun with it, And the other aspect, you have to have a mature aspect of it. I did not get insulted if somebody said I didn't really feel like a connection, because after the meeting, I want to discuss it just to see where we're at. I don't have a problem with that, to see where we're at, because like I said, we're dealing in a maturity, and if they didn't feel connection, I said, well, we'll get together and do whatever we agreed that we both enjoy doing at some point. And as a direct result, that's how I ended up with a lot of friends. I didn't take it because you can't connect with everybody.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's not gonna like you for that. So you can't get insulted. And I've heard guys text back an insulting comment once the woman said, well, she didn't feel anything. They want to text something back to hurt somebody's feeling. That's not being mature about it.
And I usually always say that I would like to be friends. I would like to continue on, with being friends and stuff. But I have had guys getting really upset with me, And I have had guys saying that I don't look exactly like my pictures. I do not take good pictures. And so they've said that. But then when they've met me, they've said I look better in person. And I think partly that's because we cannot, in a picture is just so still. We cannot show who we are.
Right. Right.
We're not. It's not animated. We can't get the personality across, or anything like that. We can't get, our being across. So I try to not look at the pictures too much unless they're ones that are just totally, I mean, guys, put your shirts on. I mean, come on. I mean, things like that. I mean, if you're just taking a casual picture, if you're on the beach or something, but when you're in your bathroom, pose with your shirt off. We don't really need it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can figure out what you kind of look like underneath your shirt.
And I still go back to it, and I think it's a very good analogy. It's a resume of sorts. Maybe it is still a resume to get that job, and the things. If you wouldn't do it for a resume to get a job, then that should be the question you ask yourself. Would I do this if I were giving this to an employer or somebody to get a job?
Right.
Would I take that picture in the bathroom mirror with the whole counter cluttered? Or would I go next door and knock them, or my girlfriend come over and say, would you mind taking my quick picture?
Yeah, here's a tip, guys. Us women, we're pretty smart. We look at the backgrounds of where you've taken your picture at, and we do see, what's behind you.
Right.
And the other thing is, like, women, I've had guys tell me, because we do this kind of thing, I have guys tell me, the cleavage pictures are just unbelievable.
Yes, that's very true.
And
yes.
so, it's not a magazine for how tacky one can be. So try to, do your Sunday best, I guess, or whatever. Try to really look the part that you are trying to meet someone of quality.
Right. And in that regard, and once again, giving the male voice, I understand. We are, me and every other man, we are visual. But I will guarantee you that for the good man, all those pictures that we see to draw our attention is not that tasteful to us. It really is not that tasteful. It may be tasteful if we're at that point where I'd like to get together with her strictly for the point of maybe having sex. It's not for the point of
that's what Harvey said. Oh, she looked too good. I couldn't.
It's not for
I
the
had
point
to drive
of
4
relationship.
hours.
It's not for the point of relationship. But that lady that is sitting there getting ready to go out in the evening, that's dressed in a nice outfit or sitting on a sofa, those are the people that I think about. That'd be somebody really getting
Okay,
to know.
let's
It really is
talk
true.
about
It really is
the
true.
guys that post, their sports car and their fancy house, and they post all this stuff that really shows that they have a great lifestyle. And then they're shocked why women are approaching them because they're all they're interested in is money.
Well,
So you have to be
right.
careful with
That's the
what
same
you
thing.
advertise.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, what? And
Yeah.
I said this to a male friend of mine. He said, "Well, what are you shopping for? If you're going to put all of your wares out there, you're going to get a shopper that's going to
Right,
look for
right.
that kind of stuff."
And that's why when we talked to Linda Peterman last week on our shows before that, we're trying to get men. But just like the women have been shown that they need to be visual to get us, the men have been shown that they need to show their worth in those materialistic things to get a woman. And we got to get back. It's not going to work for the good person. The good man should lead with who he is as a character person. And that's what's going to attract a good woman. His character, and all those other things are nice too, but you're going to attract the wrong people a lot of times when you lead with those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah, because I've never been turned on by a woman holding a 24-inch trout or something,
Yeah, I always wonder about that. How come the guys are showing us all these fish? What's up with these fish pictures?
Right. And while the cleavage pictures are great, strictly for another purpose, not for the idea of a relationship.
But why do guys show fish pictures? I mean, not one fish or two fish. They show they went out on the boat, and they show all these fish pictures.
You forget that
they think they're good cats.
When you forget that in the old mentality, it was the man who came out on top that women wanted. Is he a good breeder?
He's a good fisherman.
So he's caught the big one.
He caught the big whale. Yeah, we'll get the big whale.
Right.
But
he's a champion. He's showing. I'm on
that's
top. I'm the top dog.
I didn't think about it like that. I always wonder, like, what's up with this fish stuff?
That's the same thing. If they could show fist fight with their foot on somebody's chest and their arms in the air, they would do that too.
Yeah.
To say I'm a champion.
That's good. I never even thought about that.
Right.
Not even thought about that. That is very good.
Yep.
So I know he had said that you had said, Easy E, that he was going to shock me tonight and just have a lot of fun with me because he does this research and then he brings it up, on air, all this stuff, asks me these questions. So he's and I'm always a little bit taken back.
Skeptical as far as what it is. In the realm of online dating, in writing profiles, how honest do you think people, when they write their profiles, how honest do you think they really are? Are they writing who they are? Or are they writing who they think they are? Or are they writing something just for you to like them and none of it's true?
I think they do both. I think we always sugarcoat a little bit. I mean, because we're just human beings, and so we always have this feeling that someone's not going to like us, maybe, or appreciate what we're about. So I think there is a part of it that we maybe don't share, and part of that is also I know a lot of individuals when I've talked to them, they're afraid of really showing that they are lonely and that they do want to meet someone. They don't want to appear desperate.
Right.
So they have a little bit of caution with regards to what they write with that. And I tried on my profile to be really who I am, and to show that, like for instance, I said, I really miss having somebody to read the Sunday paper with in the morning. I really miss waking up with someone in the morning. And if that's what you're looking for, then I'm the kind of girl that it does want that kind of thing. And so I tried to make my profile one so someone can see that I do want something that is long term. I don't want something that's just a fly by night type of relationship. And I think if we were honest with ourselves in our profiles, we would get less people talking to us, but maybe the right type of people talking to us.
Do you think you struggle with new people? One thing with online dating that I think people overlook is if you're online, you are advertising, we're all in the same boat. We're all out there trying to do the same thing, but yet some people feel, I've talked to people that feel embarrassed by doing it. Some people who won't put a picture up because they don't want anybody to know that they're out there online dating for a variety of reasons that they give you. And men particularly they're not adept at some of these new beginnings, that gets them over the hump. And they could be a quality man, but that's just not their forte in meeting somebody new.
That's funny because my girlfriend and I were just having this conversation this afternoon, and it's like you get these guys, that, and I'm talking from a woman perspective. Her and I were talking, and these guys that are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're really gorgeous online. They're, the pictures are gorgeous. Their profiles are really, you're reading them and you're going, wow. This is the guy for me. And then you got the guys that are just the average everyday guys. Their pictures are not all that great. It looks like maybe somebody had taken it, for them a long time ago or whatever, and they put them up. They got the fishing pictures and they got things like that. And their profile is just kind of mediocre, it's just kind of put in there. But, those guys are the guys that are kind of overlooked, because they are the normal, everyday guys.
Right.
And gals, I would say to you out there, don't have some preconceived notion that, just because this picture isn't all that great. And like I said before, I've met some guys later on, and I'm thinking, whoa, what was I thinking? Because their picture wasn't that great. I'm not a really good picture taker. I don't think I look really good. My daughter, every picture she takes, she looks like a model. But, so I just think that we just need to be open, really, and look at the profile and say, do we have some common interests here? Yeah. Is there something that maybe we could build on a little bit? And then meet with them or talk to them on the phone and see if that's if there's something that could possibly be.
Yeah, and see, I think that what you said right there, that's one of the gaps that we've got to bridge, because I think online dating and the various dating sites and being able to find compatible sites to your interests and Christian dating sites, what have you, we become too discriminating in that we become too judgmental in our efforts to find somebody. And because of the back of your mind, it's just a matter of hitting the next button. And you're overlooking some good people. Not every good person is going to have superior communication skills. Not every good person is going to be an excellent speller. I do expect some people to make an effort.
There is spell check on there.
There is spell check. There's certain things there's certain things I'll overlook when I looked at them. A misspelled word here and there, I can go along with it. If you got 12 of them, then you didn't bother even going back doing anything with it.
Yeah, check. Use the spell check.
I remember years ago, I just because of who I was, I sent a follow-up message to a woman because her headline, the main headline, had women misspelled. And I sent her a message and told her that I don't know what to say to you, but
I bet she didn't go out with you, did she?
She never responded. I sent her a message.
Did she fix it? Did you go back and check? I bet she fixed it.
I think she did go back and fix it. And so that's a little bit, but I think we do become too discriminated. We're too, especially if we've got a past where we've been hurt. It's too easy to be so judgmental to because I'm here to tell you, if the fact hasn't dawned on you yet, there are not going to be any perfect people out there. There's going to be, every person's going to have something that's probably going to rub you wrong somewhere along the way.
I'm pretty close.
Yeah, right. Every person's going to have something that isn't going to match up to your standards. They may not match up to your religion. It's just not going to be that clear cut, and you can't keep throwing it out looking for the next one, because while you may gain those 3 things that you didn't find in the last person, you've lost 4 more that 4 more that the other person had. It's just not going to be that type of thing, and those are the areas we're going to really try to get, because I really think the root of it, and all these things and all the books and all the online dating things, the root of it is you yourself and how you go about doing it.
Absolutely. Did we have another call or no? We're not going to do it because we only have like 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we have. We got a few minutes left. I think we'll hold off we're going to continue this discussion.
Okay.
Our next year, we won't be here next Sunday for it being Easter Sunday and a holiday. But the following show after that, we're going to continue with our online dating discussion, and we've also got some announcements to make at that show as well.
Yeah. We've got some we've been working hard, and the station here is really doing a lot of different things, and so we're really coordinating a lot of really cool things. And so I cannot wait to share some of the stuff with you, but he won't let me tell you.
No, we can't tell you right now. So one of the things I head up to the end and say, we'll go off there if you need to smack me upside the head. But because we are talking about online dating and online profiles, I challenge you to write 2 paragraphs.
Oh, me? You're challenging me?
You.
See how he does this kind of stuff to me?
I challenge you to write 2 paragraphs that describe you. Only 2 paragraphs, or not paragraphs this big. 2 paragraphs that describe you, that will describe you for online dating profile.
2 paragraphs that would describe me.
Not your present profile. Write 2 paragraphs that
fair.
all the things that we talked about and all the things we've discussed. Now I want you to write 2 paragraphs that describe you. If you were going to put it on our website.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you write 2 paragraphs that
We'll
would
both
describe
do it.
me?
We'll both do it then.
Because you know me, and so maybe that is, and that's true. Sometimes it is better to have someone else write things for you or tell you what to put in your profile, because they do know you. They know you, very well. And if you're feeling a little bit insecure about yourself, maybe it is better to have someone else look at those kind of things.
But for now, you're going to write your own. And this is why. Because,
he's so naughty.
Because we talked of self-promotion, self-respect, self-love, all the things people have to step out doing. And while I understand it could be uncomfortable, I want to see if you can really put down your greatness in 2 paragraphs. And Or do you skip around and start talking about walks along the beach and fine restaurant dining and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think I was pretty good in my.
Well,
but you know what? My
see.
profile talked a lot about like things I enjoy doing, because that is important to me. I want someone to be able to do that, and I wanted to share with you too is that something like again about these pictures. I dated a guy online for almost 3 years, off and on for 3 years, and we had some difficulty connecting, which was not just his problem, but my problem too, coming out of a very bad relationship loss. And so, I know that there were a lot of things there, but I will say that the chemistry is so important, and you can't emphasize, I think, that enough.
Absolutely. And that's why dating sites can't give you chemistry. No algorithms and none of that stuff can give you
because
all that stuff.
This guy, I'm sure maybe other women felt the same way, but I know when I looked at him, I knew instantly I was attracted to him.
Right.
And I knew instantly he was attracted to me.
Yep.
There was just no doubt. There was no doubt in my mind whatsoever.
So that's your challenge for next week, to write 2 paragraphs.
To put my chemistry on paper.
On paper, and we'll continue this discussion. We got to close for now, but we'll continue this discussion next week. We're going to continue online dating. As I mentioned, we won't have a show next Sunday, the 31st being Easter Sunday.
Yeah, it might just be a rebroadcast, so you can still listen. So if you haven't heard all our shows, maybe we'll pop one up there that you haven't heard.
We'll be back here on April the 7th with Affairs Your Heart. And once again, if you need to reach us during that time within the next 2 weeks, by all means, feel free to contact us at our email addresses. And I'll bring those up on the screen here so you can see what they are.
Yeah, and definitely. I've been getting a lot of emails, and I love them. So please just email me at cece.affairs@gmail.com.
And EZE, as it sounds, eze.affairs@gmail.com. Please write us. Let us know what you think about today's show, and also if you'd like us to read your profile and give you some discriminating comments, we'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
So until next time, March the 7th, this is EZE.
And Cece.
And we'll see you we'll see you in 2 weeks from now. Goodbye. And now, live from Talkwad Studios in Tampa, Florida, it's Affairs of Your Heart with your hosts, Easy E and CC.